leave it to the Nordic countries to do something cool.
Oh, of course.
Obviously, for our haters online who are listening to this, are like, do you hear them advocating for? They want 24-hour
Social.
childcare centers. That's socialism. Like, what? That's not going to work. Hey, man, I'm not saying that. We're just pointing out that it exists, and we're saying, oh, that's a cool idea. If you got a bunch of night workers in your city, it's something to
Come on.
consider. Maybe
24-hour childcare is the devil. Call me El Diablo. Come on, man. Whoa, welcome everyone to the Upsiders. Hey, well, we're here. Here we come again. Oh, well, welcome if it's your first time. Make sure to
Oh
go hit
yeah,
that like button. Go hit that subscribe button. Follow if you're listening to us on audio.
please.
And tell your friends, family, loved ones, worst enemies about us. And spread the message that's, we're here to highlight. Hey, we're not transformative figures over here. We're not
No,
trying to change the world in any way, but
we're the OJs. We're running the love train. Get on board. Gonna join hands.
I,
Start a love train.
I thought you meant OJ Simpson for a minute. I was like,
No,
oh,
no,
the
man.
glove
The
does not
OJs.
fit. The glove does not fit.
If you've never listened to the OJs, check out Love Train. Check out For the Love of Money. For the Love of Money is one of the best songs I've ever heard in my life, Los.
But yeah, what we're here to do is we want to highlight those who are doing good out in the world.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of problems out there, especially if you're right now, as of recording, we're in what, early mid-March, end of March?
Brother, we're late March,
Okay.
which means this episode will come out in December of
Yeah.
next year.
Merry Christmas.
I'm
We're
trying, guys. I'm trying to keep up.
we're here to highlight and keep you optimistic, right?
Mm,
We There's a lot of doom and gloom out there, so we just want to shine the light on those who are, whether those are people, projects, organizations, movements, products that are just out there pushing us forward or uplifting us.
yeah.
That's what the Upsiders are for. So glad you tuned in. Glad you're checking this out. And today, Bertram, quick question to break
Well, you
break the
didn't
ice here.
introduce us.
Oh yeah, that's Bertram. I'm
Come
Los. Hello.
on.
Sorry about that.
That's
I'm
not
so
my
rude.
name.
What is your name?
My name is Night Shift Bertram.
Okay. So
The night worker.
that's what I did want to ask you, Bertram. So
3 a.m.
are you a morning person or a night person?
I'm a big time morning person.
Oh.
I'm up at 5 o'clock,
By
just going down
choice?
to the gym. I mean, that's according to my schedule. Yeah, if you want to get a workout in before you go to work, you get up at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock if I don't get a workout in. But man, I think ideally I'd wake up at like 8 every day. But
Mm.
who gets to do ideally in 2026? Those does anybody get to wake up when they want to wake up?
Well, I'm just, if it were up to you, like just untethered to your obligations,
Mm,
when would you rise?
7 a.m. I'll take 7. Seven's a good
Okay. I
time.
think that qualifies as a early bird person.
Sure.
Like
And yeah.
right in the cusp.
What about you? 1 o'clock in the afternoon?
Not 1 o'clock, but
Okay.
like, I don't know, 9, 8:30,
Mm.
9, somewhere around there.
Okay. When's your most productive time? Are you like 11 p.m. at night?
Yeah,
When are you
so
peak lows?
peak lows. So I've shared this with, yeah, even my like therapists and all the medical people. Like
Hmm.
I could feel the switch in my brain, like it turning on like post 3:30 p.m. Like between 3:30 and 4,
Hmm.
that's where like my brain feels like it's truly waking up. I'm just
Hmm.
in zombie mode from like when I wake up to that point. And it sometimes doesn't align with my body because it's like at that point I've done what,
Hmm.
8 hours of work or whatever, but like in terms of like how things are clicking, and that's when my brain starts. So yeah, I could be up until 12, 1, 2
Oh wow.
a.m. Yeah, just easy.
The best version of myself is like 7 a.m. in the morning, 8 a.m. The most productive. If that's the dude you want to meet is at like
Oh,
8 o'clock Bertram.
yeah, no,
You don't
no.
want to be lunch Bertram. Lunch Bertram is just he's like a bear. He's just what's for lunch today. Uh, and you know what's interesting though is like when you and I were living near each other, 11 o'clock at night when we're creatives and we're working in the film industry in Los Angeles. I think that was a really good time. But I think I knocked the most stuff out. So give me 7 a.m., give me eight
Oh
a.m.
no. I do not like 7 a.m. lows.
9 a.m. is too late for me to be productive. I got to get it done. 7, 8 o'clock is when I try and get my. It's what is it? I always bring up Back to the Future Part 3 with Marty McFly and Biff. Old Biff, Mad Dog Tannen or whatever, when he says, "I do my killing before breakfast." The guy goes, "No, I do my killing after breakfast. I do my killing before breakfast, Los."
Lucky you. I'm
Yeah,
envious because, frankly, the world isn't built for those nighttime people, the night
that is
owls.
true. Yes,
And so that's
absolutely.
actually what we're talking about today. So, yeah, perfect. Uh, it's almost if I had this plan the whole time.
Oh
So,
yeah. Well, let me ask you this,
yeah,
Los. Uh, isn't the world? Doesn't the world just cater to everybody? Don't we have sort of a temporal equity where all times are equal to each other? Right?
no,
What's the big problem, Los?
nope,
It's probably easy being a night person.
no, it's not. Absolutely
Well,
no.
tell me more.
Well, hey, let's say you wanted something to eat, like healthy, like late
McDonald's.
at
Oh,
night.
oh, you said
No,
healthy. All right,
exactly.
fair enough.
Where do
Seven
you
Eleven,
go? If you
gas
wanted to go to
station.
the park, where would you go? You can't go to the park. Most parks
Mm,
close at like 10 p.m.,
you can't
9:30.
just walk up to a park.
I mean, some of them if they're open, but
My park
or
doesn't have any fences or
are
anything.
the
You can just walk
amenities
through the
open?
park.
Are the
Well, they no, but they're
and don't
never
get
open.
anecdotal. Don't say, "Oh, the one here in my
The,
small area of
the
Indiana is open."
park, not all parks have gates. You could just walk. It's grass and trees. You could just walk in there anytime, right?
Anecdotal Bertram over here. But
I would
yeah,
say I'd say the thing that's closed is the swimming pool, but that's pretty much closed year round, though. It's open for like 2 weeks out of the year. So I'm putting a hole in your theory, sir.
I'm just saying we'll
Okay,
get into the data, right?
no,
So
let's not. Okay, well, what else?
yeah, and just catering to those who work. Well, if someone told you, I I work the night shift, right? They will always preface by saying, "Yeah, I work at nights," because that's a departure from the norm, right? Most of us work
Yeah,
between the hours of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
people don't normally go up and go, "Hi, I work the day shift." It's
Yeah,
like, yeah, we know, man.
that's
That's you and
assumed,
everybody
right?
else.
We're gonna have lunch. Plenty of places are open, you know? If you need service on your car, if you have a car, yeah. If you're taking public transit, it's
Yeah, that's
open,
true,
right?
man. For the research of this episode, I tried to understand us how hard do night shift workers have it? Because I used to be one. They say, "Look, man, the first thing is public transportation." We've been doing the last few episodes on public transportation. That's immediately out because they don't have the infrastructure to
Yeah.
go all night.
And something that does go overlooked, and this is probably the first thing we could get into, is if you're a woman, right?
Oh,
Night, there's a lot that could happen that's not so good at night, and women need to feel safe in all
yeah.
hours of the day. And so,
Hey, you know what I did notice though?
what?
Is I when I said day shift, like, "Oh, I'm day shift," one of the issues that day shift workers have that we complain a lot about is you can't go see the doctor because a lot of these places are open while you're supposed to be working. They're,
Yeah,
like, "Oh, well, we're 9 to 5." And you're like, "But I need to go see the doctor." Well, you're gonna have to take the day off work, which is fine. I don't. We've talked about this in a previous episode, but man, if you're a night shift worker, you go see the doctor whenever you want, right?
yeah,
You
exactly.
got us there, Lowe's. Well,
Yeah, there you
no
go.
problem this week, guys. See you next week. We'll be talking about day shift. night
No,
shift.
but
Night shifters got it perfect.
yeah, also making sure things are well lit, right, during the night. So if you're walking, you're not in danger. But also, if you're a woman and working a night shift, who's going to take care of your kids? You know, if you have
Mm,
kids,
okay.
childcare, right? So, who is actually doing this? The question is there anyone out there, whether those are cities, governments, organizations, who is drawing the prototype or the template for what
Oh,
we could copy and emulate to accommodate night shift workers, nighttime people, the night
are you,
people?
are you saying how do we get more temporal equity?
Yes.
Mm. Well, there's a lot of places. So I think we got to start by talking about COVID, right? Because you said, where do you go eat? And uh, it's been a long time since COVID, man. It's been 6 years now. And we talk a lot about how the world seemed to be, and maybe I'm speaking too broadly. The country seemed to be somewhat pro 24 hours, right? We started getting all those fast food places, some grocery stores were 24 hours, and a lot of that seemed to stop during COVID. Would you agree?
I don't know. I see where you're going, but let's
Like,
ride with
what did
that.
we lose? What never came back post COVID? It seems like the 24-hour Walmart, right? Now Walmart closes. Does it go back to 24 hours again?
Brother, I live in Los Angeles. I haven't seen a Walmart
That's
since
true.
Nam.
Yeah, man, I'm in Indiana. Come on. But a lot of stuff shut down and never went back to 24 hours. So like a lot of those places closed, and I think that's for the better, but you are right about if you're a night shift worker, how do you get access to groceries? You know, how do you
Yeah.
go take your lunch break at 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning? I used to work 3 a.m.s. I used to work 2 a.m.s too. I used to work 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. as well
Mhm.
when I worked at the parks department. And man, you're not getting food pretty much anywhere.
No.
So, yes, Los, there are some people that are trying to fix this. Let me give you a little bit of statistics. Night Shift Society, when we talk about shift society, it refers to roughly the 15 to 20% of the workforce in industrialized nations who work outside the traditional 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. window. Uh, I want to specify that we're not going to talk too much about like party goers, right? We could talk about Amsterdam if you want to, and talk about how post COVID, people are really trying to revitalize nightlife with entertainment, nightclubs, bars, things of that nature. I don't know if that's really I don't know how much we want to get into that here, Los, and just,
Yeah.
or do we just talk about your typical essentials, right? Your groceries and things of that nature. So some social, right?
Yeah.
Libraries, but I imagine you don't want to talk too much about like nightclubs.
We'll get into nightlife a little later. I mean, we alluded to it a little bit in our last episode on third places. So I recommend you check that episode out. But yeah, let's focus on productivity in this episode because I think a lot of those night people out there, yeah, I think they could relate more to that. I think party goers, they'll have their time. But what
Yeah.
about, you know, especially since you spoke about COVID, like some of that, some of those amenities, some of those, that availability just being closed off. So, yeah, what have you
Oh.
found?
I guess I could take us back to we could talk about Boston first, I guess.
Sure, the city of
Because
Boston.
yeah, we mentioned food options and how do you get some access to some decent foods, right? Food deserts are something we've talked about multiple times, both on this podcast and on our old podcast, Mad World. Check that out. I think the episodes are still up there. Food deserts anywhere where you don't have, access to fresh food. What I think it's like a mile,
Yeah,
a square mile or something from where you are. And so, because of that, there is a link in the show notes. It is a medical article about the negative impact of night shifts on diet and emergency healthcare workers, because night work has a lot of health consequences from disturbance of the circadian rhythm to obesity, metabolic disorders, all sorts of bad things. 27% of emergency healthcare workers do not have time to eat during or more than 8 consecutive hours of the night shifts. They do not even have time to drink for nearly one fifth of them. All sorts of interesting things. So, I picked Boston because of they have late night food options. Let me pull up. Let me open this. I think you could share it too if you want. From the Boston University, Boston has new late night food options, and they're on wheels. Food trucks will serve Caribbean fusion, tacos, and lobster rolls until 3 a.m. at hotspots around the city. So, they have specifically started a program to put more available food options for nighttime workers through food trucks. And so that's kind of where I started my journey into understanding what sort of, oh, there you go, right there, what sort of options are being created for night workers. So if you go down, I picked this article first just because it's got all the different food trucks, and I think people would like to see those. You got some cool shade, a Jamaican spot with vegan options. Oh, there you
Oh,
go. Los, how do you
okay.
feel about Jamaican vegan food?
Hey, tell me about it. I'm
Yeah,
down.
there's multiple Jamaican spots in Indianapolis that get very good reviews. You got extreme flavor. It's a build your own bowl at
Ooh,
this
oh,
African
Dominican
Caribbean
restaurant.
fusion
Let's
truck.
go. Let's
Oh
go.
yeah. You got Los Muchachos, which is Puerto Rican fast food. Yeah, your El Dugout is a Dominican restaurant. Man, we need to go. And then Cousins Made Lobster from Shark Tank, if you recall.
Okay.
So something small that it doesn't have to be anything big where you're spending tons of money. It's just how do you create initiatives that are good for the economy, good for small business owners, and good for night shift workers? Hey, man, that's something really simple.
Yeah. Feed them.
Yeah, feed them. And it's not like the night, the food trucks are operating at a big loss. It's just finding a need, right? And any city can do this. Go work, go find a hospital, figure out how many food trucks would be good, and cater to those employees.
Cool. I
What do you
like
think
that.
about that?
No,
Yeah,
I like that. I think, and there's always an opportunity too for the food industry. It's real fickle. It's could be low margins, right? It's like you could struggle to make a profit. So if
very competitive.
you could position yourself to cater to those who work in a different time period, or time window, maybe I should say that, not time period like the 1970s or something like that. But yeah,
Disco.
different time of the day. Yeah, that could be your niche, right? That could be an area where you could dominate that market, because everyone else will be closed. So yeah, I see the benefits there. So maybe, yeah, and hey, place like LA, we're king of food trucks. So I don't see why we can't have that here.
Yeah, absolutely. I did put another link specifically to this project from CBS News. It's called the Late Night Food Truck Program, which gives select few businesses the opportunity to operate until 3 a.m. They will be located at 7 locations across Boston near hospitals, universities, nightlife hotspots, and concert venues. It will provide night shift workers such as nurses, servers, police officers, DJs, and concert goers with more food options. And then it's got the same list that we looked at before. Somebody says, as a Shantae Roman, owner of Merle's Kitchen, said, as a small black owned Caribbean owned business, to grow in this way, to see our dreams realized, it just means, it deeply means so much to us.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so that was an article from June of 2025. I tried to pick things that happened within, roughly the last year, some new initiatives to see what we're doing now, 5, 6 years out of COVID.
Right. Um, awesome. So I think I hinted to this earlier. Childcare. So what about,
Yeah.
yeah, how's that?
Okay.
Anyone
So,
doing that after hours?
well, okay, so let's stick with Boston and then we'll go into a bigger childcare program because yes, there are people doing that. Boston also started a Wake Up the Night grant pilot program, which is a really great way for cities to incentivize small businesses or creative entrepreneurs, innovators in their city to build some things that the city needs through grants. Right, I'm always big into small arts grants in Indianapolis, things like that, to try and incentivize innovation. Right,
Yeah.
and so that is a way you can spend money. You don't have to spend any money with these food trucks, but this is a way that if you want to push this in your city, you can start a grant program. So Boston did the Wake Up the Night grant program, and what that does is it's a grant for 6 things to wake up nightlife and have some more of that temporal equity that we were talking. How do we make every hour of the day seem a little bit more equal, even though we're not in agreement, and 3 a.m. ain't going to be nearly as important as 3 p.m. I understand that, and that's a good idea. So here are the 6 things, Los, that the Wake Up the Night Grant pilot program is going to incentivize people who are creating accessible programming. So what that means is if you have social events that are curated for diverse abilities, physical, cognitive, emotional, I don't know, escape rooms. What do you think? What does that mean to you? What's accessible programming to you? Something with physical, cognitive, or emotional diverse abilities.
Ooh, accessible programming.
Yeah, what is that? What? Oh, I see some of the grantees down here. Okay,
Okay.
we got a trike called Funk for Funk Fest. Okay, so we got a Funk Fest. We got the Fall Ballet, Asian Community Development Corporation for Films at the Gate Festival. Okay, so we have some different things here. Teen networking socials, adult playground. All right, you see what ice cream social. It says these are some of the
Okay.
things that receive this grant money. They don't have to be accessible programming. Another one is cultural expression. How do you showcase cultural interests and expressions of Bostonians? You could get the grant if you build something intergenerational. How do you promote multi-generational social interaction? Spirit fee free programming, which means no consumption or presence of alcohol. Weekday activations, which means can you do this Monday through Thursday? Because I think that's another really important thing that we need to talk about on here, right? Is it's not enough to talk about things that are happening on the weekends, right? This is
Yeah.
we're trying to create a third space, like you were talking about, on for night shift people. So what are some stuff they could do on Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the last thing is what you were talking about, youth programming. So activations aim to serve persons 20 years old or younger. So if you can really push any of those 6 things, you can apply for the Wake Up the Night grant program. And if you go to that website that I put in the show notes, there's a list of all the different types of grantees that receive that money, which, we talk about ice cream social, things like that. So those are some helpful things that Boston is doing to try and revitalize their night shift employees.
And if you're listening, if you're watching on YouTube, when we say show notes, that also means a description. But
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. So this is a government program, right? So this is something that
Yes, local
these are
city government.
grants. Nice.
Yes.
Uh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so now we're talking. So now we have food options. We have money going towards those who are starting programs. I think we're set, right?
Well, you wanted to talk more about child care because
Ah,
these are specifically like watch my kid for a few hours, man.
yeah.
But what happens if you're a night shift worker and you need legitimately someone to watch your kids for 6 to 8 hours? Does that exist, Los?
That's what I'm wondering.
Man, I
Does it?
guess yeah, let's talk about Sweden.
Okay. Ooh. Ooh.
At some point on this podcast, we always talk about Sweden,
I
Los.
think we need to take a trip to Sweden. I think
Okay, we'll
the
take a field
Nordic
trip.
countries. I think we gotta go over. Holler at my friends in Sweden and Norway and
Oh,
Denmark and
yeah.
Iceland and yeah.
So I don't know how up to date this stuff is when we talk about these Nordic countries. A lot of it seems to be 10 years ago, before COVID, which I want to put that disclaimer on there that I don't know that these are specifically happening. This is just where my research started when we talked about how do countries incentivize people to build things tailored towards night shift employees, right? And so Sweden was the first thing that came up. I do have a link in the show notes to Sweden's 24-hour childcare by Ming To. I wanted to check out this person's Substack. She's a Singaporean journalist. Lowe's is number
Ooh.
3 if you want to share your screen. And she did some research on this and looked at how in Sweden it is legal for children as young as 1 to be enrolled in childcare. The rising demand and trend towards 24-hour facilities marks another milestone in Swedish childcare arrangements, with the needs of minority groups like night shift workers and single parents being met. And so it talked about how in Stockholm alone there are 5 child care centers that cater to after hours care, so like night shift employees, right? And in the last 5 years, the number of children aged 1 to 12 years old in after hours care has increased by 50%, from 3,817 to 5,770, says Erica Karanius, political advisor to the education minister Gustav Fridolin. And so in here you see multiple people who run these child care centers, and they talk about why on earth they'd be interested in watching kids at 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night. And they talk about like, this time really works for me. Going back to what you said earlier about you get that spark Los at night, and how do we make sure that we help those people who maybe they get their spark at 2 o'clock in the morning? What can we do for them? And so these are people who run those daycare. They're not called daycare centers; they're night care
I
centers,
care.
right? Which Los, I don't know how much you want to teach, but maybe you want to be around a bunch of kids when they're sleeping because you're like, dang,
Whoa,
that's an
hey.
easier job. And rather than being around kids during the day, you're like, they're not running around at night. They're tired.
Ah, wow. Look at that. Pretty affordable too. $140 the equivalent a month.
Well, this is a while ago too,
Okay.
Los. So just keep that in
Inflation.
mind.
Three
Man, that
hundred
was
dollars. Even if
yeah.
it's $300, I mean, I don't have the exact stats, but I think I've read
if
somewhere
if
around like 5,000 was the average cost per childcare per month.
if you
Um,
go down to the bottom, it says that this was this story was published in
ooh,
2014. So that was
okay.
12 years ago though, man. So $300 is like 10 billion
No, I
now.
said
So
140, so I was just
okay.
estimating that it's, I see.
you know, remember when Subway sandwiches used to cost $20? Man, they're like 400 for a Subway sandwich now.
Do people
Oh,
can
the
still
good
go
old
to
days.
Subway? Is Subway still around?
Man, my wife had the craving for Subway
Uh,
last week, and I had to go to a Subway,
oh, you have
and
to.
I had to eat a Subway sandwich. Man, it felt like I was eating cardboard loaves. I found some cardboard in the back behind my church I had a week ago, tasted just like a Subway sandwich.
Oh
But yeah,
no.
leave it to the Nordic countries to do something cool.
Oh, of course.
Obviously, for our haters online who are listening to this, are like, do you hear them advocating for they want 24-hour
Social.
childcare centers? That's socialism. Like, what? That's not going to work. Hey, man, I'm not saying that. We're just pointing out that it exists, and we're saying, oh, that's a cool idea. If you got a bunch of night workers in your city, it's something to
Come on.
consider. Maybe
24-hour childcare is the devil. Call me El Diablo. Come on, man.
yeah, my goodness. Sorry, we get a lot of comments, Los, and apparently we're selling socialism to everybody. But that's what Sweden does. There's also another link I have in here called Women Friendly Cities Challenge, where Sweden is considered the gold standard for childcare, and it talks about how since women entered the working economy in the 60s in Sweden, that they've had to have policymakers implement more effective childcare policies, and so that's what's really pushed Sweden to do this.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Uh, great. Okay, so we got it all figured out. But question, Bertrand.
Please don't say that. You're gonna get us in trouble.
Question.
Yeah.
If I were in charge of a city, let's say I don't know, throwing it out there, a mayor.
Oh,
How
okay.
do I balance what goes on in the daytime versus what goes on
Mm,
in the nighttime? Should that be the same person?
well, Los, I'm glad you asked. If you point to a wonderful city like Amsterdam, they
Mm.
have this policy they've been working with for a while called the Nachtburgemeester,
Ooh.
which is our word of the week. It's our word of the upside. The nightmare, also known as the Nachtburgemeester. Amsterdam has used a nightmare for quite some time, where they're just kind of in charge of revitalizing things. I guess it's an elected position, kind of, but there's no like formal legal power. It's just more of an independent figure focusing on dialogue, mediating conflict, supporting cultural initiatives, and so it talks. The link in the show notes talks about Amsterdam's nightmare, the first nightmare, Mirik Milan, and how you essentially build a human bridge between city government and the night workforce. And it could reduce nighttime violence by 25% and increase economic output without disturbing sleep residents. So I
So,
do notice what. Oh, go
so they're
ahead,
kind of
please.
like a czar,
Yeah, sure.
a night
Baron.
czar.
A bear,
Yeah.
the night czar, the night baron. And if you check out, yeah, The Guardian. I put a link from The Guardian, and it talks about how other places are starting to get interested in bringing in nightmares. It says London announced plans for a nighttime commission. Berlin is considering it. Apparently Milan was a former nightclub promoter. He was elected in 2014 by festival goers, club and bar owners, and the public. The post emerged from projects dating back to 2003. So if you want to learn more about Milan, but it talks about London, South Wales, Australia, just what's going around. And I think I have some links in the show notes too about some American cities possibly looking at this idea of your night czar, your what did I say? The Nachtburgemeester, specifically
Nachtburgemeester.
New
Yeah.
Orleans. New Orleans has been trying to revitalize their nightlife post COVID, so they have a mayor's office of nighttime economy. There is a free transportation service created by the Atlanta airport, specifically for night shift workers. So there's a lot of push in cities, on a municipal level, and now it's pushing over into United States cities for how do we create this sort of nighttime position, a Nachtburgermeister.
Nachtburgemeester.
Yes, sir.
So that was the word of the day.
That was the word of the day, sir.
Hmm. Okay. Bertram, so I don't know about you. I feel a little better.
What
I
you
feel
tell, man,
less
brother?
alone.
You tell us everything. Like, what do you think about all this? You're the night shift guy.
It's encouraging, I will say, because it's
Mm,
like this is something that often goes overlooked, that there are a lot of people who are working what we consider odd hours, but night shift. They work the night shift. And there's not really, society isn't shaped for those people who, like you quoted, 15 to 20% of the workforce.
yeah,
That's that's significant. That's around a fifth of the workforce works outside of the 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. hours. So
yeah,
why not accommodate those workers? Why not have more stuff available so those of us who might be considering maybe a change in careers don't feel as if we'll be on an island, so to speak, without things like childcare, food, hospitality, stuff like that. I don't know.
mm.
I don't know. So I think we've shed the light on what's going on at night.
Are you ready for the reality check, Los?
Uh-oh, reality check. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, I realized. Oh, can we make the Nachtburger Meester our hero of the upside
That's
too?
it. The Nachtburgermeester,
All
aka the
right,
Night Mayor,
there we go.
is the hero of this
and
episode.
and the word of the week.
Yes,
So this is the part of the show, Los. You have a minute. We shoot for a minute. I put one on my timer over here where I just kind of ask Los, 3 to 5 things about the episode, and we try and say, is this a myth or reality? And Los has to explain it. And you better give a good explanation and try and make it short, Los, because
I'll
sometimes
try.
okay.
Yeah.
Why did I open up a calculator, Los?
Sometimes I give you equations.
Yeah, sometimes. All right, 1 minute is on the clock. Are you ready?
Yeah, ready.
All right, let's go. Uh, Los,
Are you
fact.
ready?
Yeah, I am. Fact or myth? The night economy is a luxury for partygoers and the entertainment industry.
That is false. There are up to a fifth of our workers are participate in night shifts. So no, it's not just limited to those concert goers, nightclubbers. It's actual workers. They work in hospitals. They work at factories. They might be driving at night. They could be
Power grid technicians.
power grid technicians. Exactly.
Yeah.
Uh, Firefighters, policemen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Fact or myth? A city is safer when it shuts down at 10 p.m. and minimizes activity.
No, 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 no. Because, hey, if we're ignoring the fifth of the population that's out there doing their thing, even if it is for recreation, you want to make sure those people are taken care of as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then last one, night shift work is a choice made by people who prefer isolation or quiet environments.
No, no, there's a lot of essential work that goes on around the clock that isn't just exclusive to your 8 a.m. or 6 p.m. If you have an emergency at 3 a.m., you'd like to think there's people working, right?
Man,
So come on, give me a break here. I'm off.
you're amazing. You're hey, no, please don't leave me. Don't leave me, Los. So Los, can we speak?
Just push my
Give
hair
me, give
in.
me.
It's just wow.
It looks beautiful. It's always
Look like
beautiful,
Willy
Los. You're
Wonka. Anyway,
no, the Timothy Chalamet version.
oh, Gene Wilder.
Oh man,
Um,
how do
but
you
yeah,
feel about all of this? What do you see? Because you talk about being a night owl. Where do you want to go at night? You're not trying to go to the library, but like in a perfect world, where would you go at 2 o'clock in the morning, Los?
in an ideal world, like
Yeah.
I said, getting something to eat, going for walks. Like
Mm,
I want to be able to not feel weird going out for a walk at like 3 a.m. if I wanted to. So that means I'm thinking stuff as simple as having well lit streets. If I need to go and get food somewhere or want to, go to a different part of the city, I'd like to think public transit's open, especially if I'm working. Um, yeah, just having your everyday amenities available around the clock. I haven't had the pleasure of going there yet, but I hear in places like Tokyo, you can just go about your business late at night. No one's gonna make a snuff about it.
really?
Just because, yeah, it's safe, well lit, and I could just be just going based off what people are telling me, but yeah, I think having healthy, safe, functioning cities that operate around the clock are better for more of us than some of us.
That's beautiful, man.
So what do
That's
you
it.
think, Bertram?
I think that's
Cool.
great.
We just want to be seen as night people. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Come on now. So yeah, I think that's today's episode. Bertram, you have any final thoughts, final word for the
Just
message?
thinking about how would it work to have a society like that. And for me, it's like, well, Riley Children's Hospital is uh, near downtown in Indianapolis, and like that kind of should be a hub for nightlife, right? That hey, here's all of our hospital workers, our nurses, and all those amazing people who and there's tons of workers there, right? So how can we build some infrastructure there that would help give them what you're talking about, right? Um, and then go from there.
Yeah.
I do wonder when is that? Who's going to invent something that allows us not to sleep anymore, Los?
Yeah.
Why are we still spending a third of our lives sleeping?
It
Don't they have
bothers
some?
me.
Isn't there something that we can do to cure that?
It
And just say,
bothers
"Oh, this
me.
is this is sleep in a bottle,"
Yeah.
and then we'll get what you want. Where it's like, wow, well now we really
What
gotta
gets
make a
me
24-hour world.
what gets me is that like you can't like save like sleep in your body. Like you can't say,
Yeah,
"Hey, I
bank.
fell yeah, I fell asleep for 4 hours during the day. Make this work for me if I want to stay up until like 5 a.m." No, it's because the stupid thing called our circadian rhythm kicks in. It's like, dude, you're tired. We're out of resources. Ignore the fact that you were asleep from like 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. earlier today. I don't care about that. You need to go to
Read,
bed.
reading the news, the guy who banked a bunch of sleep, earlier in the
Yeah.
year, something. He's like, oh, I just stay awake for the last month of the year. like,
because I got it in the bank. I wish it worked like a bank account, you
Yeah,
know?
Joe does it every year where he goes on a trip around the world and never sleeps and like does all this cool stuff. Oh man, I'd love to be Joe.
Hey, but maybe that's a future episode of The Upsiders as we highlight someone who's already working on those kind of things. But for now, I guess we
Yeah,
should look forward to some of the work that's already being done, as we saw
yeah,
illustrated in cities like Boston, countries
yeah.
like Sweden, the Netherlands, and more. So yeah,
And if you're a listener and you're listening to us on the night shift, man, put something in the comments and say hello. We love you. We support you.
yeah,
We're proud of the work that you're doing. If you work night shift, reach out in the comments. Tell us what you do,
yeah,
uh, and let us know what's open for you. What do
yeah,
you like to do, and what do you wish you could do?
yeah. What did we miss in this episode that we
Yeah.
should consider when catering more towards night workers? So that's it. Okay. But yeah, on behalf of Bertram, I'm Los. Hope you enjoyed this. Make sure to follow, subscribe, leave a like, leave a nice review wherever you can. And I'll see you not just on this side, but I'll see you on the upside. Goodbye.